Hello everyone. For this practice, we're going to work with the mantra Gobinday, Mukande, Udare, Pade, Hariyang, Kariyang, Niname, Akame. So I will play this mantra continuously as we move our body through various positions to unlock the creative force within us. So Gobinday, Mukande, Udare, Apade, Hariyang, Kariyang, Niname, Akame. And when you begin to chant that, you're going to experience a movement of the tongue that's going to stimulate the pituitary gland, which is your imagination. So we're going to awaken our imagination and really download the teachings of the universe through the mantra. The mantra has great teachings of how the universe functions and how the universe works, the laws of the universe, which you can download into your psyche through the sound current and begin to integrate a more cosmically connected embodiment. So like always, we're going to tune in with Ang ONG Namo Gurudev Namo, a mantra for the teacher and for the teaching and for the great student, the masterful student. So rub the hands together. Rub them very, very fast. Create some heat in the palms. You can clap the hands to awaken the brain, awaken the heart, clear out the tiredness, the fatigue, the sleepiness. Clapping automatically awakens the life force. So if you need courage or willpower, clapping is a way to kind of shock yourself awake. And then bring them here, right at the heart. Roll the shoulders back and down. Lift up, open the heart. Soften the belly, soften the thighs. Tuck in the chin slightly, close your eyes, drop into your body, and feel from the perineum all the way up to the top of the head, the soft spot of the baby's head. And feel a center line, a spit is what we call, that is anchoring down into the earth like a rod, and then it's also extending up into the cosmos like an antenna, or like branches to a tree, receiving, and also integrating and downloading. Inhale, hold the breath, press the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and you can mentally recite, I activate my pituitary gland. Squeeze up and in, root lock, which is rectum, sex organ, navel, belly button to spine, where you're pulling up. Exhale, inhale, squeeze up, press the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Now activate your imagination. Focus on the frontal lobe, the forehead, and see this sort of white screen with zeros, 0, 0, zeroing out the mind. Exhale, inhale last time. And then really drop into the heart, and I want you to see the four ways of the heart. We think of the north, south, east, west. We think of the father on the right. We think of the mother on the left. We think of the ancestor and the diaphragm, the guide, the ancestor, and then we think of the higher heart, right? We think of the higher heart as your soul, your oversoul, your spirit, your UCI, your unique celestial identity. So think of the four ways of the heart, the four chambers of the heart. The father in contact with the mother in contact with the ancestor in contact with the soul. Exhale. And then begin to chant. Inhale. Namo Gurudev Namo. Namo Gurudev Namo. Squeeze up and in, press the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and just feel the shift in your awareness through the mantra. Exhale. Keep your eyes closed, and I want you to, with each sound in the protection mantra, you're going to visualize 4 pillars of light, and you're going to move the sound to the right, behind you, to the left, ahead of you. Then you're going to spin it clockwise with your imagination, very fast, as you visualize a royal gas stove blue flame spiraling like a star from what is below you, deep in the earth, all the way up the spine like a trunk of a tree, and all the way out, like through the branches of a tree, into the aura, into the outer atmosphere of you, multidimensional sort of layers of you. Inhale. Adgadename, Jigadgadename, Sadgadename, Siddhi Gurade Vename. Adgadename, Jigadgadename, Sadgadename, Siddhi Gurade Vename. Adgadename, Jigadgadename, Sadgadename, Siddhi Gurade Vename. Inhale. Squeeze up, exhale. Press your hands firmly together. And then inhale, relax. Exhale, relax. So listening to the mantra, first thing that we're going to begin to do is we're seated Indian style, with our spine tall, our shoulders rolled back, our heart open and our belly soft. So what you're simply going to do to open up the body is just simply move side to side, and you can feel it from the kidney, you can feel it from the hip, even from the kidney. You feel the equalization of the spine, and you could just close your eyes and just go side to side. And your legs are firmly seated on the ground, so I'm not really moving my lower body. It's more so my torso, awakening the rib cage. And then your spine is very tall. You want to feel as though you're lifting up. Just gently awakening the kidneys, the rib cage, feeling the sensation of the spine. So you can see I'm bringing my shoulders down and I'm bringing my head up. And breathe long and deep through the nose. Inhale, squeeze up, press the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Exhale, relax, and then kind of come forward as you're going to bring your left leg, the left bent leg, stacked on top of the right. And you flex your feet, so really look down and you can see a triangle. So then kind of position your bottom. You can bring your cheeks up and then pull yourself forward so that you can you're sort of bending over the position rather than kind of sinking. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to begin to rotate towards the leg that's on top. So the left leg's on top, so we're rotating the spine counterclockwise towards the bent knee around. And you're kind of coming forward at an angle as you're sticking your butt back and you're pressing your heart forward. And that what that does is it allows a spaciousness in the lower abdominal rather than kind of just like crunching. And then just begin to feel the sensation of the left hip as you feel both hips. And we're just gently beginning to activate. You can even put a pillow underneath your bottom so that you can get even a more of a sort of bend over the position. And you can create even a bigger rotation without lifting your knees off the ground. And again, I'm flexing my feet. Flexing my feet. So really coming forward, pulling my heart forward, my butt going back, and then kind of round. And then just kind of fold forward, keep the feet flexed. Really bring the heart forward, bring the butt back, roll the shoulders back and down, tuck in the chin slightly, and feel from the tailbone all the way up to the upper vertebrae. So I'm not coming all the way down where I'm touching the earth with my fingers. So as though your back is flat. And then inhale. Press the tongue, the roof of the mouth, squeeze up and in as though you're levitating off the ground. Exhale. And then I want you to just bring that leg out right beside the leg. So the right leg is bent. And then the left leg is coming up. And then I just want you to kind of begin to kind of come up as you lift the butt up and down. So I'm kind of swinging up. So I have my fingertips on the earth and I'm kind of just pressing my left foot on the ground and then I'm kind of lifting myself up. So it's more so your foot rather than your fingertips. Your fingertips are just to support you rather than lift you up. So I'm really just kind of pressing myself forward, using the strength of my left bent leg to push myself up, down. Breathe long and deep. And you don't want the knee to come over the toe, so I'm not doing that. I'm just kind of going straight up and down. So straight up, slightly forward, and then back down. Then inhale, exhale. Bring that leg back in to Indian style. And then bring the right leg stacked on top of the bent left leg. Flex the feet. Really position yourself where they're stacked right on top of each other. You look down in between your legs and you see a triangle. And then kind of just move yourself to position. Okay, and then begin to rotate towards the bent right knee. So that's clockwise. And again, I'm coming slightly forward as I stick my butt back and I bring my heart forward. And I'm just kind of bringing my hands into my knees. You can create a big sort of rotation again, my feet are flexed. Big rotation. Around to the right, back around to the right, back around. And you want to really feel elongated in the entire spine. Keep the feet flexed and just feel the sensation of the right hip. Is it more open than the left? Is it tight? Just observe the kind of sensation that is moving into your brain from accessing the hip. So create a bigger rotation. So forward, kind of coming back slightly, forward. Breathe long and deep. Then inhale, just swing forward, bring your heart forward, your butt back, tuck in the chin, align the spine. You can look down, you can close your eyes. And you're just kind of shooting yourself forward as though there's an arrow at the top of the head shooting straight up at that diagonal. And just breathe long and deep. Keep the feet flexed. Okay, inhale. Exhale. And then come straight up. Bring the right leg beside the left. So the left knee is on the ground, the right foot is on the ground right beside the left foot. Bring your hands beside you, kind of behind you, so press yourself straight. Keep the leg towards your chest, and then kind of press the right foot down as you swing up and down. So it's more of your right foot pressing into the earth than using your fingers to get you up. And when you come down, you want to experience both butt cheeks on the earth. You want to lift up from the top of the head. Breathe long and deep. Adjusting the spine. So really press. Press. Inhale, exhale, come seated, swing back onto your knees. Kind of position yourself on your knees. where you feel comfortable. And then you're going to flip the wrists right beside the knees, sticking the butt back, bringing the heart forward, and then open the throat, close the eyes, kind of back bend the head back. And then begin to press the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Breathe long and deep through the nose. Inhale, exhale, unflip the wrists, bring them onto all fours, and then just begin a cat-cow. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. It's okay. Inhale, stick the butt out, open the chest, press the tongue on the roof of the mouth, squeeze up and in. Swallow, exhale, squeeze pelvic floor forward and up. Bring the chin towards the navel. Activate the lower abdominal and then swing back into down child pose. And really stretch the armpits as you reach. Come onto the fingertips, lift up, push forward slightly. Bring the head up. So reaching forward as though your butt's pulling back and your hands are pulling forward. Inhale, exhale, and then swing forward. into Cobra. And then while you're in Cobra, you're just going to move side to side like a serpent. Feel it from the toe all the way to the fingertip to the head. And just close your eyes, keep the feet together, and just feel the serpent of the body. And bring the shoulders down. You can bend the elbows slightly and stick the head up. And imagine somebody's pulling your ankles and pulling them back. So point the toes. And then come onto the fingertips and bring the head all the way back. Look up. Just breathe through the nose and press the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Exhale, come into Sphinx. Bring the forearms down to the earth to relax the lower spine. And then while you're in Sphinx, you're going to kind of come all the way into your belly. Bring your hands to the earth, feet out, so you're being pulled in two opposite directions. And then you're going to roll to the left, bring the roll to the right, bring the left leg back. Roll into the belly, roll to the left, bring the right leg back. You can just rest the head on the arm. And point the toes. And then come back onto the belly, come onto the forearms, Sphinx posture. Really open up the neck. And then what you're going to do is you're going to grab your right or your left foot, bring the right arm down, lift up from the chest, come onto the fingertips and press yourself back so that you're lifting up. It's kind of like a bow pose. And I'm also lifting up the leg slightly as I'm kind of swinging the leg up, pressing back, and then and bring it down. You can bring the hips side to side and then reach, grab the outside of the foot and come onto the fingertips, press back as you press the leg up. And the straight leg is pointing fiercely. Inhale, exhale, swing hips side to side. And then reach back. Press. Inhale, exhale, come down, move the hips side to side. Still kind of digging my fingers into the earth. And then reach, press back with the fingertips. Exhale, come down, just rock it side to side, come into the forearms, and then just rock the hips side to side. Inhale, come back into Cobra. Bring the toes underneath and then swing into downward facing dog. And just let the lower back release. Stick the butt way up, bring the belly over the thigh, and look towards the navel. So then you're going to bring your right leg down, left leg back. Your hands are just above your knee, and then left leg out to the side, pointing the toe. You're not falling over the right hip. And then back, toes underneath, and then swing back. Left knee down. Right leg's being pulled back, toes tucked under, and then swing it out to the right, pointing the toe. Knee is facing forward, swing it back, and really use the heel to pull your hip. Left knee down. keeping my leg up the whole time. It's just my toe touching the earth. So just hold it a second. When you feel the stretch, you bring it out. Downward facing dog. We're going to bring left foot, right foot forward. And then you're going to come into a deep squat. If that's possible. So you can first bring the perineum to the behind you, and then bring the perineum down to the earth. So the fingertips on the earth lift up. And as you swing the butt back, you can look behind you. Inhale, hold your shoulders, lift up. Inhale, exhale, and then fold over, bring the feet parallel. And then bring the legs together so that they're hip width apart. And then begin to stick your butt straight up to the sky. Bring your heart over, down, and bring your belly over the thigh. Grab the heels. See the armpits fitting into the knees. And then you're going to press onto your ankles, lift your chin up, bend the knees slightly, and then fall over, look behind you, grab the heels, grab the front of the ankle, open the throat, and then fall forward. Now inhale, exhale, kind of roll up. Grab behind the knees, press the back of the heart to the sky. And then as you're in that position, I want you to feel the belly, the breath in the belly. So really actively move the belly with the breath. So as I inhale, my belly gets large, and as I exhale, I kind of squeeze my belly button to my spine. And then inhale, just roll all the way up. Bring the shoulders back and down, and then the head up. So then bring the feet hip width apart. Can bend the knees slightly. Bring the hands, one hand on the lower belly, one hand on the lower back. And imagine you're sliding down a wall, and then with the lower spine, create a wave-like motion. So inhale, exhale, and then what you're going to do, have your hands on your hips, and you're going to rotate, or you bring the whole torso around while your hips are just stationary. So creating an entire circle. And then in the other direction, straight up, exhale, and then sweep your hands down and just let them hang, and then create this sort of flat back. Tuck in the chin to align the spine, bend the knees slightly, and imagine that you can have tea on your back, so you're not coming all the way down. You're coming sort of this 90-degree angle. heels together. Bring the toes out. Grab the ankles. Really press the pelvic area forward. Really lift up with your heart. Roll the shoulders back and down. Imagine you're lifting up from the top of the head. When you press your pelvic area forward, what you're doing is you're allowing the hips to open. So just grabbing the ankle, pressing my heart forward, really pressing up. And then inhale, exhale, really balance. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now bring the hands to the knees, really press even more up. Press the palms on the thigh in contact with the knee. Press down as you're pressing your heart up. And then inhale, exhale, bring the knees together. Bring the heels back, the butt up, and bring the heart over the mountain. And then come into downward facing dog. And then bring the right leg forward, the left leg in archer or warrior. Bring the hand to the thigh and press yourself away from the leg. Bring the other hand back behind the thigh, reaching towards the back of the knee. And bring both shoulders down. Really bend the front leg. And then we're going to swing forward, lifting the back leg up. And let the arm go around into the fold of the hip. You can look down. You can bring your palm on the earth. Point the toe. Bring it down into warrior. Grab the arm, the wrist, and swing it even further towards the fold of the hip. Bring the shoulders down. Inhale, exhale, and then bring the toe back under. The knees facing the earth. Reach forward as though you're trying to grab something. Bend the front leg. The front leg's pressing back, the back leg's pressing forward. Reach. Bring the fingertips down. Swing it back to downward facing dog. Then bring the left leg forward. Come into warrior. Bring hand to the thigh, shoulder down, press away. And then the other arm is reaching behind the thigh towards the back of the knee. And press the shoulders down. So you can roll them back and press them down so that opens up the heart, and then tuck in the chin. then you're going to swing so that the back leg is up. Kind of on a downward slope. And then come up. Bring the arm around towards the fold of the hip. You can press the palm on the earth, look down, point the toe. Then inhale, exhale, bring it down, coming back into warrior. Grab the wrist, pull it more towards the fold of the thigh or the hip. Opening the heart, inhale, exhale, bring the toe under, the knee under, then begin to reach from the lower spine all the way to the top of the head. Bring that heel back. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, come down, come back into downward facing dog. Bring the knees down, sit on the knees for a moment. Sit on the knees for a moment. It's like dirt all around you. And just feel the spine, feel the hips, feel the openness. And then what you're going to do is you're going to swing the hands up, back and around, and then come seated. So pretty simple. So it's almost like you're reaching into camel, but then you're not. So reach up, back and around, looking up, then come down. Opening the armpits. And then when you sit, just allow the lower spine to just drop, meaning release. So just completely surrender and just let the lower back let go. So we did forward bends, now we're doing back bend, which is to help you move forward, to review your past, and then to get over the past. And then inhale, exhale. So while you're on your knees, you're going to come up, you're going to bring the right leg forward straight, and then you're going to sit down and point the toe as much as you can, and then swing into like a lunge, and then bring it back. Whew, it's like sweaty. So kind of slightly lifting up, tucking, activating the lower abdominal. Bring the left leg out, sit back, kind of feel the balance. Point the toe and then come into a gentle lunge. And then swing the leg back. Whew. feel adjustment in the hip, the knees, the ankles. Just a couple more. This is not possible for you, you can do different variations where you don't come all the way back onto the knee. And then come into the knees, swing into downward facing dog. Bring the feet together. Bring the right leg up, open. Kind of like a dog going on a hydrate, and then bring the knee under, and then bring it down. Stick the butt back, come into the knees, keep the toes under. And then swing back, swing down, swing back, swing down. Swing back, swing down. And then come all the way into the knees. Bring the knees together, bring the feet apart, and sit in celibate pose where the perineum's plugged into the earth. Lift up from the chest, roll the shoulders back, down. Just breathe long and deep. Really pull up. Bring the shoulders down, pull up from the back of the head. And then interlace the fingers and then press up on the back of the head, opening the armpits. just allow the perineum to make contact with the earth. And then inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and then stretch up, interlace the fingers, bring the palms up, stretch up, and inhale, exhale, bring the hands down to the earth, bring the knees back into all fours, and then just begin to rotate the whole spine. And your head is just neutral. And in the other direction. Then inhale, exhale, neutral spine, tuck in the tailbone slightly, and then press back, and then come into a deep squat. Interlace the fingers straight out towards away from the heart, and lift up slightly. Press back as your heart's pressed forward. And then inhale, bring it all the way up, lift up, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and then just sit back, come seated, continue to lift up, close the eyes. Then inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and then just open it up 60-degree, palms reaching up, and then touch each of the fingertips with the thumb. Breathe long and deep, and really stretch up. exhale, drop the hands down. And then now what you're going to do is you're going to touch the thumb to pinky here. So just kind of up.
Have a nice day.
Yes, have a nice day. So just touch. Just close your eyes. And touch, touch. And then begin to open the eyes. Look at the tip of the nose. I'm just touching the Mercury finger, the pinky. Activating your communication skills. Your ability to receive information, to process information, to articulate this information, to consolidate the information, be concise, be direct, and also to know, the jargon, the sort of miscellaneous information from the information that gives you energy and that gives you clarity. So just continue to touch, looking at the tip of the nose. You're not here for very long, so let's try our best. You may feel somewhat, uncomfortable, as the pinky a lot of times is not working. We don't really exercise the pinky as our other fingers. So strengthening that sort of pinky muscle may cause a sort of spasms or sort of shakes. Just hold it here. And the other fingers, just kind of let them do what they want to do. We're mainly focused on the thumb in contact with the pinky, looking at the tip of the nose, straight spine. And just become as sensitive to what this sensation is doing to your whole physical body, your physiological structure. What we're doing is we're repatterning the physiological structure through activating the pinky finger, which is connected to the brain. All fingers are connected to the brain. All fingers, when activated in certain ways, creates nuances in the brain that promotes more of a creative mindset that's able to adapt, to change, and to try new things. So we're supporting the learner's mind. As we get older, especially after 35, we can get very fixed-minded. Very, very fixed-minded, to the point where the creative mind begins to set itself into a certain thought form. With the learner's mind, we're quite revolutionary, quite evolutionary and resurrectionary, rather than fixed, rigid, this, that. You can go slow, you can go fast. Just feel the sensations moving through the body. Breathe long and deep. Do not hold your breath. It's going to be very extra uncomfortable. You're almost there, so keep going. It's very, very short time, so you should feel very enthusiastic about continuing. And just, you're focusing on your articulation of information, your ability to process and to know the jargon, the kind of miscellaneous randomness, versus the actual information that gives you energy, that gives you inspiration, and that gives you a sense of clarity. Inhale. Exhale. Continue, hold. Inhale. Press the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Squeeze up and in. Exhale. Inhale. Squeeze up and in. Press the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Exhale. Relax. Close the eyes. Move the head side to side. Move the head. Roll the head. Other direction. And kind of shake the shoulders. Tuck in the chin so you can feel it in the back of the neck. And then inhale, exhale. So we're going to tune out. So bring the hands together. The heart, inhale, exhale, inhale. Sa-nam. Again. Sa-nam. Last time. Sa-nam. Bow to yourself in your practice. So there is a difference between miscellaneous, sort of energyless, mindless information that is full of jargon. That's kind of how, the matrix system works. And we want to talk about the matrix and the system. All of this information, these teachings, the Black Madonna teachings, the sort of oracle teachings, before the immune priesthood, which was the real sort of pharaoh, right, dynastic Egypt, with the immune priesthood was, basically a sort of descendant, I like to say, of the sort of high priestess, right, which belonged to Egypt more 12,000 years ago, right? And there's sort of archaeologists are discovering that a lot of these structures, these sort of pre-dynastic structures, are actually belonging to a civilization that possessed technology that is quite technology we can't even use today. With the metallithic structures, the metallithic stones that they use is we can't even with cranes and our current technology civilization be able to do that. So, the establishment of the matrix, the system, right, goes from the immune priesthood with the sort of, you can sell your ascension. You can, purchase your afterlife, right? So, with the weighing of the heart, right, you could literally give the immune priest sort of precious material, right, that would basically, you could buy your ticket into the afterlife, right? You could buy your ticket into the ascension, right? Where you can, you can buy your clearing of karma, right? And we know today that doesn't work, right? You cannot buy your sort of clearing of karma. It's only you with you. So that's kind of the first, I think, of the real first sort of scrambling of information that happened, because there were original teachings 12,000 years ago, probably in a matriarchal civilization with, technology that is quite, even we can't even grasp our head around this sort of technology that is seen in ancient Egypt with these massive metallithic metal structures, and these tools that they use was not what we think of sticks and ropes and just kind of hitting at rock with a stone and just kind of chiseling, right? They had diamond technology, diamond laser technology that we today, I don't even think we know how to necessarily use that to cut through granite or cut through really, really tough rock that's not easy to just kind of cut through. So that is pure evidence that, you know, there's a layer, a deeper layer to ancient Egypt that has dynastic Egypt basically on top of it, right? So all of this is evidence to the sort of immune priesthood beginning in the dynastic Egypt, sort of a descendant of the high priestesses, right, of pre-dynastic Egypt. And the scrambling of information has a lot to do with the as we see in our current society, you know, the withholding, the discriminating, the hoarding of it. Precious information is a part of a slave society, right? And you know, there are beings who created this slave society, right? So where you see the oligarchs, you know, we call the 1%, the oligarchs are, you know, this high, you know, the sort of given permission and access to everything, right? So, you know, there's different systems that have been on this planet. It's not always a slave system, right? And the slave system is not so much you're a slave to whatever oligarch that oversees everything, right, and has their hand in almost every sort of corporation, industry. We're talking about you're slave to your own mind. Because with information that gives you clarity, inspiration, and information that gives you energy, you can be quite creative, and you can be the individuals that actually invent technology, invent new culture, invent new science, right? Because a lot of these Renaissance and these individuals like Nikola Tesla, they were just complete average people. You know, they were not oligarchs. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the people that create these massive waves of advancement or progress or discovery, either it be art or science, are quite have a sort of sovereignty of the mind, and that's why they're able to access this. But when we have that slave mentality, what happens is we deplete all our energy. We have no energy left. We get ourselves into situations out of low self-worth, low self-esteem, and what happens is we can't really hold a space that's fertile enough to actually, you know, creativity to flourish. So the information, you know, we're in an information age, but we're also in a saturated information age where a lot of the information is going to be complete hogwash, complete jargon, just doesn't make any sense, it's mindless, it's just random, it's meaningless. You know, so a lot of young people are experiencing, especially younger generations, are understanding like there's some kind of mindless and meaningless information that's being dumped into the media, right? That gives you no energy, no inspiration. And that's what we call a non-reality, where you have no inspiration, you have no sense of energy. With no energy, you have no sense of reality, right? Because energy is an alchemical force. An alchemical force is reality. Reality of the process of trees and the sort of phase cycles, rhythms of trees and nature is very alchemical. It transfers information tree to tree. It transmutes energy. It transforms energy, such as the transformation of leaves, you know, into acorns into flowers, these type of things. And then it transcends, meaning the tree can transcend the environment. So if the environment is harsh, if the environment is, a sort of catastrophe, the trees would transcend, right, the environment, And that's alchemical force. That's real inspiration. So a lot of these scientists, artists, mathematicians, a lot of times they got their sort of, we talk about their power, either it's recognition or discovery or creativity, through the ability to have the sovereignty of their own mind, to know the difference between information that is straight up mindless, meaningless, just jargon that makes no sense, charlatan, versus the information that actually gives you inspiration, it gives you clarity, and it also gives you clarity, gives you inspiration, it also gives you energy. I'm sure a lot of us, we listen to information and just automatically we're just like, something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Information is meant to give you an alchemical impact. It's meant to, penetrate you in a way where it opens the mind, not confines and traps, slave of the mind. So a lot of information, pretty much from 12,000 years ago onward, in the dynastic Egypt, a lot of the information has been designed to be very complicated, more so than what is necessary, right? So the more complicated the information is, the less likely you are to really decipher and to really get to the original information, right? So a lot of the teachings, even of the Bible, there's an original source, right? Because we didn't really have the printing press until the 1800s. So before that, there was probably a long period of just oral tradition, right? Storytelling, right? So there are always sort of original information, and the original information is going to give you inspiration, it's going to give you clarity, and it's going to give you energy, right? It's going to give you an alchemical force, right? You're going to feel that alchemical force. So information can be verbal, it can be non-verbal. Information can be musical, information can be mathematical. Information can even be your aura, can be the aura of the tree. There's information in everything. Your environment, your house gives off information. Your sort of frames in the people in the frames, what you have on your iCloud. There's information that you're constantly accessing, you're constantly processing, you're constantly filing, you're constantly like a computer. But I think what's happening on this planet is that people are understanding that they need to really understand the mindless, meaningless, random information versus the information that actually has clarity, inspiration, and energy. So, what I've discovered is that, Charlotte, with a vast information age, that is, a lot of charlatans. There's a lot of information of lies. So I don't, there's people who have PhDs who claim, I am the expert of the expert, but with no sense of clarity and inspiration and energy within yourself, right? No sense of original sort of foundation that gives you a sense of integrity. You could just be spilling out just whatever, for the sake of whatever. And that's what people do. It's like, I'm just going to put out whatever for the sake of whatever. And I think people on this planet are starting to realize, like, I don't feel energy. I don't feel inspiration. I don't feel clarity from this. Like, I don't feel that alchemical force that brings about this just movement of my creativity. I'm sure we've listened to music. I'm sure we've listened to the news or, gathered some kind of information where it did nothing for us. It didn't bring any sensation of movement of the psyche. It just was just random. You know what I'm saying? It's like bringing purpose to randomness. So that's why I gave you this meditation, so that we can begin to navigate this high information age, this high age of all kinds of information, but a lot of it is like I said with the Immune priesthood. The dynastic Egypt, they did not have the original technology. They were given the original technology from their elders, an elder civilization that had technology that they offered to dynastic Egypt. And just like their original information that people are kind of spinning off of, and creating their own sort of claims of it, and their own sort of distorting it and making it their own. So to know original information is really just to know your own intuition, because you're great surfing the web type of thing, surfing the internet, is your ability to really surf your own Akashic record. That's really the great gift, is to know how to surf your own Akashic record, because your Akashic record is the original information of you and this earth. A lot of what appears like the Wizard of Oz, that who's a charlatan, right? A fake, a hoax, magic show. That's what's going on. So really, the individuals who know how to transurf their own Akashic record, their own library, their own soul's library, are going to be the ones who know how to know the original information, versus information that unfortunately designed to create the slave mind thing for I don't know, oligarch type of agendas that are designed in a sort of work slave society for thousands of years ago, as a way to keep the sort of distribution of wealth controlled. When you have control of the distribution of wealth, you have basically the power. If you have control over the distribution of wealth, you have the power, right? And that power, you can use it for your own agenda. And whatever created this was wanting access to this planet and the planet's resources. So this probably goes beyond just human beings. This is probably like extraterrestrials that wanted access to this planet, but they knew that in order to get access, they had to create a system where these oligarchs, these elites, or whatever you want to call them, they basically can control the distribution of wealth. So that also controls the careers, the education, the salary, the cost of living, everything, right? So information is just going to get more pressurizing, more intense, and it's just going to become more of like people are going to feel like they're getting mental collapse or mental breakdown because of that information. And if you don't have like a mind practice, you're just going to get wrapped up, you're going to get sucked right in, and you're not going to know what's going on. You're not going to know what from what is this, what is that. You're going to feel just bombarded. You're going to be overthinking, and then what's going to happen is you're going to become robotic. A lot of people, not a lot of people, but yeah, a lot of people they're getting too wrapped up in their head. So what's happening is they're becoming robotic. They're losing the sensation of their heart. They're losing the sensation of their body. They're losing the sensation of their mantra, their soul, their authenticity. They're kind of their instinct, their intuition. They're stepping out of that primal force of like the lion and the bear and the tiger, and they're becoming robotic, right? And that's kind of partially a part of an agenda for the future, is robotic mind, because robotic mind is basically the opposite of sovereign mind, right? And we've seen robotic mind throughout time and time again on this planet in different forms. When we think of the time of Moses and the Israelites and the freedom of the Israelites, how they created that was through recognizing, wait a minute, we're becoming robots. Let's create a spiritual practice. As the Israelites did, let's create a spiritual practice where we can basically deconstruct this robotic intelligence we've been in for probably multiple generations. So how you dismantle this robotic artificial intelligence is through your primal life force, right? So that's why there's great value in the indigenous culture, because though there's, the colonialists, imperialists, are going to call them barbarians and savage and all kinds of, weird stuff, right? The colonials, the imperialisms of this planet, right? But the one thing about these sort of Native American culture, these sort of shamanistic cultures of like South America, North America, Australia, all kinds of regions, is that there's a sense of being sovereign in your mind, being creative in a simple way and yet an extraordinary way. Sometimes simplicity is better than just all this, whatever jargon. You know what I'm saying? I've read so many papers in college that was just jargon. Like, I'm like, only really a paragraph was like, okay, thank you, I just need that paragraph. Why is it all of this extra, right? It just confuses you. So I think that kind of robotic mind of rational, it leaves out the room for you to be instinctual, intuitive, and for you to kind of feel into it and to trust yourself, right? Because ideally, indigenous people, they were all about generations of newfound creativity, generation of newfound sovereignty, of greater energy, of greater impact, sort of that shamanistic mind where you're able to find within yourself your success or your victory or your completion or your fulfillment. And now today, with the sort of absence of this kind of indigenous people and Native American people, is that a lot of people don't feel complete or fulfilled, and they don't feel very secure or confident within themselves. They feel very codependent, very reliant, very incompetent, very complacent, and very much that they don't have a sense of control. So even though the indigenous people, the Native American people, were very simple, right, yet so extraordinary, right? I mean, they could use a simple mantra, a simple meditation, and you would get this whole sort of transcendental experience. Like, you didn't need to, do all this, that, and the other to get this, sense of soul embodiment. You know what I'm saying? And now today it's like you have to do this, and it's so complicated to get your soul in your body, right? And it was simple, it was direct, it was straight to the point. And that's why individuals, they had more sense of I know myself, right? Confidence, character, rite of passage, sense of I'm a woman, I'm a man, I feel able and capable of using that alchemical force within myself to shift my reality, shift my mind. I have an ability to do that myself. I can do it. So that's why the whole word of pilgrimage, for this ancient world was very much about you, challenging yourself, you being the manifester of what you think you can do, how far you can go, your thought, your self-concept. The shamanistic journey was all about your great self-concept, your great thought, the great challenge, you pushing yourself further, knowing that you can go further, knowing that you can do different things, knowing that you can be creative in different things. So when people would do those pilgrimage, in many ways, it was a way to free the mind, to create freedom. Even the pilgrimage to North America from Europe, it was seen as taking back freedom of my own mind, because only those who had a sense of freedom or sovereignty of their mind were actually able to make it, you know, because some of these voyages and these journeys are not easy. Either it be physically, like you're like kind of like a marathon type of vibe, it's very physically vigorous. It could be mentally, it could be psychologically, right? Think about the French Revolution. You know, the French Revolution, you know, that was very psychologically just aggressive. So people who took the pilgrimage and said, you know what, let's, you know, free our minds and, you know, let's, you know, go in a new direction and move our energy, that was quite challenging psychologically, right? And physically as well. So the shaman's journey is freeing for the mind in the way that you get to experience. I think everybody wants to experience. They want to have the sensation of their ability to decide their own thought. You know, mommy, daddy, society, ideology, no. I decide my own thought. Hell, if I'm born Catholic, I'm gonna get married in a Hindu wedding, you know, a Hindu wedding, right? So there's a sense of I am the composer. I am the one. Not, you know, this is the one, that is the one, and, you know, I just pray that, you know, I am the one, right? So that gives you a sense of accountability, responsibility, and it also gives you a sense of time is precious. Let me just do it. Let me go for it. Let me really, really create the mind I want, the body I want, the spirit I want, whatever it is. And that is why, you know, that shamanistic mind is able to really be more liberated, right? Because even though the culture seems very simple compared to our, you know, colonialist type of American dream, but there's a sense of liberation that, you know, this American dream doesn't necessarily have, right? I mean, people may feel liberated because they got retirement, they got vacation, but what is that? Like, your whole life is just, you don't feel liberated until vacation, until retirement. So, you know, that's it. We think that liberation is you can only have it when you're only a short amount of time in the year, right? Like, liberation is only, you know, 2 hours of the day. But in the shaman mind, every moment was programmed and trained yourself. Every moment is an liberation, a moment of liberation, or opportunity of liberation. So, you know, with the shaman's mind and the indigenous people, the Native American people, it was like the challenge, the blessing was to be liberated. So I think that's why a lot of young people are, you know, wanting to get high and, you know, ayahuasca ceremonies and, you know, smoking weed and, you know, to get that state that I want to be liberated consistently, not just, you know what I'm saying? I want to get out of the trap or the you know, whatever slave of my mind. And people think, you know, they're looking for something that will give them that high. And when I mean high, it's like you're getting higher than whatever ideological, social programming thought. So that's why people want to get high. They want to get higher than the information. They want to have the eyes of the eagle. They want that sort of empirical, I can see clearly, right? And that's why, you know, people are trying to, I want this, I want to get high and stuff. But really, you know, how we get high consistently and hold that sort of high while being in the body, because that's important. You need to be in the body. You can be high and you know, black out and, you know, going from La La Land and, you know, ayahuasca and whoa, you know, but if you're not in your body, you can't retain the information. You can't integrate the information. You can't hold the information. And therefore you can't utilize it. You can't actually like put it in the ground and make something and manifest with it. It becomes elusive. It becomes something like, it's like up there that you just can't get in the body. So information with your soul, the shaman is like, I want information directly from my soul. Like, yes, I'll listen, and but because this world is such a polarity, you have to transcend duality in order to get information that is direct, clear, and gives you energy. So the shaman mind, the reason why these chiefs, this lineage of shaman, these lineage of chiefs have been deconstructed, and abolished from this planet in all of different regions of this planet, is because that type of promoting of that freedom of the mind, when you're trying to create a system that is completely against that, that's dangerous. These people, they can put seeds in people's thoughts that are quite liberating. You know what I'm saying? So that shaman mind is just the indigenous sort of original tribal essence of ourselves, where we have direct access to our soul. And that direct access to our soul is not needing a third party, not needing being reliant on this, being codependent on this. It comes direct from our own culture that we create within our lineage, and with our own sovereignty of the mind, with our own sort of, I want to participate in Hinduism, Buddhism, I want to participate in Christianity because I want to, right? Because I want to study that, so that can enhance my connection with my own soul. It's meant to enhance your connection with your own soul. Not to, your soul is way out here and you can only contact your soul through this thing, this person, this whatever thing. It's meant to enhance the connection you already have with your soul. So I'm going to leave you guys with this, because I think I got pretty much the download. So thank you, and Sat Nam.